you are a community club. DCFC is a community-built club. And it will always
team is pitching a plan to revitalize a historic gem in our community, and it's a project that's driven by their passion for their sport.
State of disrepair right now. Concrete sort of crumbling a little bit. The bleachers.
Football club. We're at Keywood Stadium. This stadium was built in 1936.
Indeed, it's amazing to see just how far they have come. Years ago, they were playing over at Gas Tech, and now so many people.
The post and Stephon St. Louis is there to clear it.
Yeah, in the background, you know, they give us the 12th man. You know, it's awesome.
Games, fans to watch. We're happy to put on a show for all these guys that came out to see us play.
When we move, they move, and just communication is the biggest part.
It was great. I think we could have earned a shutout earlier against Sparta in the year.
Awesome. You know, the atmosphere is amazing.
Monday with the right foot. It's in the back of the net.
People know us now. People know what to expect. Now we gotta take it to another level.
Look, city till I die. Say hi to the bad fella. Hella smooth with the flow, so grab your umbrella. Yeah, we make it rain. Bring the pain. Things are changing. Power rankings take a spanking. Got them rearranging. They said Denise are all stars till we deboed all y'all. Ball of fist and brawl y'all. Yeah, we pissed off all y'all. And we thin, but still winning. Grinning at the top. Got up under head spinning. Make that chin pop. Blue collar clocking in. They been mocking us for days till they step into the key and they been leaving with a fade. Doubting us, but then they swayed. Say we pout, they throwing shade. You will never have what we have, time to get the blade. Cause we'll be cutting them up. Yeah, we're shutting them up. We ain't bluffing, tell you something, better knuckle up. Y'all ain't nothing but chumps, we put in overtime. We'll be putting in work until it's closing time. City till I die. Talking blood, sweat, and tears. City till I die. We've been building this for years. City till I die. This don't happen.
Good evening, or afternoon, or morning, whenever you check this, one and all. Yes, contrary to what you heard last week, Garrett is here. And like the rats and mice and squeaky sounds you hear at the tunnel, never go away. I sat here last week checking out, Adam and I recorded our thing, and then I asked, how was Tunnel Talk? He's like, it was good. I'm like, how much did y'all talk shit about me? He goes, just a little bit. So one of the fun things you get to do sometimes is kind of see the episode before the episode gets dropped. And I got to see a handful of things in particular. For as much as we talk about the scrubby-ass league that we're in and our scrubby-ass teams that we play with their scrubby-ass supporters, I got to see, what was it? I got to see Red be a scrubby-ass, pale, ginger gringo version of wine-drunk Jaime last week. And also even struggling to close an episode more than I did. Which is saying something, because sometimes I take forever to close an episode out. Alan was recording under traumatic incidents after what happened to him earlier that day with Manchester City exiting the Champions League in penalties. Adam running the same joke about me and my German club and whatever dumb fucking American club they choose to partner with. First Forward Madison, then Carolina Panthers, now this new Milwaukee team. I mean, at least they're doing a US tour, but I'm gonna fucking go to fucking Milwaukee? No, shut up, Adam. Go try to jump over the fence again at Keyworth, but if you didn't understand what I'm talking about, he tried to jump the Fesh post match, bit it hard. It was kind of funny. You should, hopefully somebody has security footage of that. Jaime said maybe 20 to 50 words. Rod all of a sudden has now become a financial analyst for NISA, knowing when players get paid based off of if they're fucking golfing or not. But then decided to go to Oakland to watch City Roots, even though Roots flew to come here. Yeah, man. At least Dennis looked good with his new fresh haircut, but then again, I have other reasons to be outside of the podcast why he could be on the shit list. But guess what, y'all? You know what's on fire right now. You know what's shining like a beacon, like a halo, perhaps. Detroit City FC's men. We'll get into that in a quick second here. But now that the entertainment fire has been out of the way, let's talk about the three of us that are here right now We might get one or two more into the tunnel. Garrett here in my now what looks like particularly bright ceiling light. Now we also have red in red with a halo.
It's a pleasure to be here this evening, gentlemen. And Garrett, thank you for sharing. We hear you, and we understand that there may have been some things said last week that were not favorable to your character, and we hope you wish you a good healing process.
Thank you. That's at least that's the most we can get on that. Mr. Allen.
Hey. What's happening?
Also, someone with a light problem earlier and seemed to fix it out. Rolling in well. Looks like we have a new one that's popped in here. Does not seem to be Mr. Ventura, but it seems to be the one that went really far back in trying to jump this mesh fence at Keyworth last week. Bit it hard. And then his son thought it was cool to try to do the same thing and then biffed it even harder. So, Adam, way to win Parent of the Year last week. How are you doing, bud?
Wanted to do it. You gotta let kids make their own mistakes, right?
Right. I mean, yeah.
That's why we let you jump over the fence.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you wearing a shirt and tie?
Is that the only thing you've noticed with that, bud?
No, he said that stupid halo on him before.
Mr. Hernandez, I'm sorry that if my presence...
He used the Mr. Hernandez. Oh my God, he's doing
I apologize if I have threatened you.
It's like I'm in an advising session or something. I'm sitting across the table.
That's just going to be our new background music. Isn't going to be the sounds of a tunnel. It's just going to be the sounds of an organ hitting sweet, sweet music.
No, you know what? It's funny. It's funny you bring that up because I was like going back and like reading some older reviews of the show on iTunes or Apple Podcasts as it's called now, and one of there was a complaint on there, and they're like, "What's with the dripping noises in the background?" So I kind of want to turn up the dripping noises now. So
there's never such thing as too much drip, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Well, and if those people were in the tunnel right now, they would know that it's a little chilly in here.
Yeah,
I'm
man,
freezing.
Yeah.
Well, and if our friend,
what's going on with this weather?
And if our friend, the listener of the podcast, has concerns about the drip, I would say that there is medication for that.
Mm-hmm. Any other thoughts that you want to listen to tell us about whether drips or other creatures, feel free to reach out to us kindly at 451det@gmail.com.
You may be featured on a future podcast.
Yeah, favorably or unfavorably. Alan, you were talking about how miserably cold it's been with this weather. Thankfully, it's slightly better than what we witnessed this past Saturday. Keyworth Stadium, 4:20, smoke going off at 4:20 p.m. or a little bit after. Well done to you smoke nerds that planned that one out. Oakland Roots coming into town like it was the 2020 NISA tournament all over again. Coming in from cross country. Having to struggle against the mighty Burrito Brava of El Farolito of NPSL and win 2-1 on Tuesday. However, Detroit City made sure that everybody left home, not only happy, but warm because they brought that fire, son. 3-1. Jaime's favorite forward in the world, Ben Morris, opened things up in the first half with a great little goal. Alex Villanueva with his first league start.
Is that why Jaime's not here right now?
He says he'll be on shortly. Yeah,
he's been partying since Saturday.
He's not only had sorry, Alan. Real Madrid advanced in the Champions League semifinals. He's
Right.
had a Real Madrid over Barcelona in El Clasico. He's had Ben Morris scoring a goal. Yeah,
Goal and assist.
and an assist. He's in a strange time right now, and I think we should all and join as we say this the beacon comes on. So Mr. Ventura, who's also braced for the cold weather, hiding the luscious locks and going with the toque or beanie. We were just talking about how you're unmute yourself, damn it. We were just talking about how your favorite forward in the whole wide world opened things up on Saturday and got an assist.
I think you'll find that he's my favorite right winger in the world.
I mean, you're talking football, right? So.
It's just in. Jaime's right winger.
Oh shit!
He's a supporter of right wing.
Oh, don't tell a certain supporters group that likes to hide behind things on here. Oh wait, too soon. So on that said, Villanueva won a penalty that Maxi Rodriguez buried, made it 2-0. Then the new boy Victor Pizarra comes on in his first week play. Great little give and go with Ben Morris. Roots pulled one back, but in the end, it doesn't fucking matter. Detroit City not only won 3-1, they were the only team in the entire weekends of matches in USL Championship to win at home. So 5-0-0 in league play. I had a fun time, even though I froze my fucking ass off. Why don't we get the thoughts of all these gentlemen here? Mr. Red in red, start us off, please.
Yes. Well. I actually took a little bit of notes about the match. My first bullet point just says "we are." That's all it says. But the second, first, this was interesting enough. One, I thought we played very well. However, it was interesting enough. It was the first match this season where we didn't outpossess our opponent. But yet we outshot Oakland 18-9. And it was also the first match, if I'm not mistaken, that we were under 400 passes, but we still had a high accuracy. But beyond that, there's a few things that popped out for me. One, I think that it's safe to say that Ben Morris is probably an early candidate for the Black Arrow Award. Hell of a performance. Made the USL Team of the Week on the bench. So basically an honorable mention, if you will, for the Team of the Week. Murphy's presence seems to be really opening up some things that I think probably has something to do with his Irish roots.
Fiery.
But on a serious note, Murphy's presence, I think one thing that I've noticed, and y'all might have actually said this before in the tunnel, but I've got the habit of not paying attention when you're talking. But I think that it really has opened up something. Obviously, it's opened up something for Maxi, right? It's alleviated Maxi of some things that in the past that, he's had to track back a little bit more, and allowed him to shine in a way that I think maximizes his talent and what he can bring to the table. And not only that, though, one of the things that did dawn on me in this particular match, and I thought he played well last year, and I thought he played well so far this season, but I think it just popped out to me a little bit more on Saturday, is Lai. We're seeing, I think Lai is, he is really coming into a whole nother level, like of his potential as a player. Although he was constant last year, I just feel like he's a little bit more dynamic. I hate using that word because everybody uses it, but it's true in the way that like he seems to have a certain versatility to him that is nice. I think a lot last season he played more of a role that controlled a bit of the pace of the match. In the center, and also was good at always tracking back, and he's certainly still good at doing that, but we're just seeing something from him in the offensive third that excites me. You know, he's a lot more explosive off the ball, man. He had some wheels in certain moments on Saturday that he created some opportunities that I don't recall seeing in the past, but maybe he did and I wasn't paying enough attention. And he put another heater on the net that had the potential of being one of the goals of the year. It was good, beautiful shot. The fellas again on Saturday continued being more physical, which is seeming to be a characteristic this year, and I'm loving that. And they did all this offensively. We're looking pretty good without having Allie, without having Reese, without having Elvis. And that says a lot. We've talked about it, right? That our depth is bringing us a lot more than it has in the past. I thought Alex Villanueva, he looked good, but I would also say he looked a little bit shaky and lacking a bit of confidence in the offensive third with the ball at his foot. He had a couple of opportunities that he just didn't seem comfortable in terms of putting the ball in the back of the net, which would be a little bit consistent. If y'all saw his interview with Sheldon, he had mentioned, I think he's only scored a couple of goals in his career, you know, but he creates some opportunities out of nothing with that ball at his foot in ways that it's really cool to see. Levi's, I thought he had a really good showing as well. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Victor Becerra get a nod in the starting 11 because I mean I love the man, but I don't think that I don't think Zede is making the most of his opportunity right now in Elvis's absence. I know he has it in him, and maybe, you know, I don't know. I'm just not seeing him as right now when we start playing some of the more competitive aspects of our schedule or competitive clubs in our schedule that if we were in the same situation and missing some of these key players that I probably would feel a little bit more comfortable with Victor up front. But who knows, right? He came off the bench and he had a spark. He had a hell of a shot. That was, I think Jaime pointed it out during the match. I seen it in the thread. Like, man, it was just it was a beautiful clinical shot. You know what I mean? And I was surprised. I don't know if you guys saw the little bit that the club put out today. It was almost exactly like Francis's shot a couple years ago against Oakland. It was kind of bizarre seeing that. It was pretty wild. But I don't know, man. Overall, I thought we looked strong. You know, I thought we could have scored more than 3 goals. I think that there were definitely some opportunities that we didn't put in the back of the net. We're not showing, you know, that killer instinct up front in moments, but we're definitely showing it more. And it's weird for me to say that after we scored 3 goals on them. you know? And I guess to Alex's credit, even though I think he sometimes looks a little bit shaky when he's got the ball at his feet, particularly like in the box, he did draw that penalty that led to the second goal that Maxi put in the back of the net with once again automatic Maxi, you know, from the point, or what do we say? What is it called? From the penalty
spot.
The spot, right? You know, you can trust in him on that. But yeah, I don't know. Overall, I thought we played really well, and I'm excited to see how the fellas are going to respond when we start playing a couple of these teams that have found their ways to the top of the table. And yeah. No, it's looking good. It's looking good. And one of the things I think overall that I love to hear in Ben's post-match interview was something that he said that echoed what I've heard other players say in post-match interviews so far this season is the camaraderie and the cohesiveness of the club, of the players, on and off the pitch, and it really tells. He's just talking about how, like, even in practice they have a lot of confidence in a very supportive environment of one another, and that's just a different vibe. Even though we didn't hear it necessarily overtly being said last year, like, you could tell that they were a bit disjointed, and it wasn't just in terms of, you know, them not meeting maybe the tactical desires of the gaffer, but just in general, they just didn't seem to click. There just seemed to be something off with the vibe of the crew last year that I'm not seeing this year.
Yeah.
And some of the guys that I'm enjoying the most in that sense are some of the new guys. You know, they just seem to be fit and slide right in. Humble, hard workers. It's a beautiful thing. Like I'm really, really excited to see where we're going to continue to go this season.
Hell yeah, man. Jaime, how about you, man?
Well, I think, first of all, I do want to piggyback off of what Red was saying about Lai. He has been great, and I feel like the first year of USL Championship, and maybe to a little bit of an extent last year, people were a little bit maybe critical of him, maybe giving the ball away a little bit more than we'd like, and that's a little bit fair. But I think people forget how young he is.
Yep.
He's only 24, and for a center midfielder like that, like you don't really get into your prime until like 27, 28. Like those are the peak years for those center midfielders. So like I think as he continues to gain the experience, and that's a difficult position to play in, and I think he's just only going to get better. And I think we're seeing that a little bit even more this year. But I still think there's a huge ceiling for him, just in general. Yeah, I mean it's just like I even felt like Nate was more subdued than he normally. Like I mean, sometimes even last year when we would win a game, it felt like Nate had to make like 17 brilliant saves to keep to preserve like a 1-goal win, and he just like I think they had saw that they had like 3 shots on target for the whole game. Like it just we had control of it. It never felt like we were really in danger of giving up the lead. You know, obviously the early goal helps. I mean, I think that always gives the team confidence. But it just felt like we were never going to let it go. And I'll say too, like it's just so refreshing to see Dikio using the squad, using the substitutions, using like those. It changes the game. It really does. Almost, I think in every single game, it's been a noticeable change in the second half. And I think we've talked about maybe like second half City's back, but I don't think that happens if he's not making the subs and he's using. It's not just because he gets fresh legs in there, but it helps everyone to feel like they're a part of the squad and that they're involved. And if everyone's getting minutes, I think everybody just feels better about we just saw like last year Adrian on the bench. He's right. Like, I've got no idea why I'm here, like, and maybe someone would get thrown on in the 85th minute, but I think you see guys like Sheldon coming on and getting like 20 minutes, and you see Becerra coming on at halftime, right? Like that would not have happened last year. It just wouldn't have, and I think it's a big part of the good start that we're having so far. So
I think you made a good point on right. Actually, you go. You were going to say something.
Well, so I want because this crossed my mind. It might have been on Saturday. It's been in the last week. It crossed my mind. The difference between what we're seeing in terms of the use of the bench this year relative to not only last year but the year prior, but maybe the year prior was more of a we didn't really have shit, right?
Yeah, we didn't have a lot of people. I mean, there was games when I think we didn't even maybe had 3 or 4 subs on the bench.
But I wonder,
and one of them was like Benny Tanyi.
Right, exactly.
The other one was Bosch.
Right, and no disrespect to those guys, but they're still very young in their career, and they, I don't know that we had other options that, they would have been in the mix,
But last year we did have options.
Right, we did, but what crossed my mind was, and not to say that this was the plan, but I'm just wondering if this kind of ended up in a weird, organic way working in our favor this year. One of the strengths that we absolutely have this year is we do have we don't just have like a strong core. that have been here for a couple years and have played together, but because of the lack of use of substitutes, like this strong core also has a lot of minutes behind them, right? And so I wonder if we would be seeing the stability and the consistency that we see without that core, if that core would be what it is today, if those decisions weren't made in the past. Now, I'm not saying that we should have not used those subs in the past. You know what I mean? We don't know, but I wonder what role that ends up playing into what we're seeing this year. Is that some of the guys, like, think about some of the guys that are part of that core, like, go back to like Mikey Bryant, who I think a lot of us were a little bit unsure about what he was going to be bringing to the table, and he's come in to be one of the most consistent players that we have.
Yeah, playing in a different role completely, because when he started on in 22, he's a center mid in the first, then attacking mid, then up even like as a 10, then short into the center defense, and now as a fullback this year. So agreed with you on that. Okay, Alan had to step away real quick. So otherwise I was going to get it. So Adam, I'm going to give you this segue because Jaime, you talked about the change that was, Alan's back. Okay, good. So I'll have Alan go on this because Jaime, you made a good point about us making at 2-0 up. We decided to switch out our starting striker. Izzy Matthews coming off, Victor Becerra coming on, and making his impact felt early in a big way. What did you see? What did you from what you were seeing in his second game? Because he had a good stint on Tuesday, the previous Tuesday, in the Open Cup against Stars, but this was like his first, like, right from the second half, ready to go.
Who is it?
I was going to ask Alan. Wait, down there. Oh, he's typing in. He's saying it was yay.
What was the question again?
Victor Becerra. How did you?
Well, yeah. I mean, when he came in, it's like turned up the energy 2 notches, and we hadn't really seen him yet, except for like very limited minutes, and so I really wasn't certain about his fitness, but when he came on, it just like you really saw something immediately. So I don't know if the plan is to use him like as our new starting forward, especially in the absence of Elvis being out. But it's like I immediately noticed, like, wow, that's really good. And then of course the goal. So the way that this squad has come together, and you never know, you bring in new guys, especially where we've had a core of players. Bringing in new guys, you always wonder, like, how's this gonna come together? And I mean, it's been limited number of games to draw conclusions, so it's like early days yet. But from all that we've seen on the pitch and what we hear from the players, it seems like it's come together quite well, and so I think that's something that we're really gonna test out. So we've played some teams. We've got more games coming up. We've got an away stand, 3 away games, including the Open Cup game. So I think we'll know a little bit more about how this, where this team is at in terms of whether this steel is hardened or not. But so far so good, and it's very enjoyable on Saturday. It was quality of play was what you want to see. Really, it was like, okay, this gave me vibes from like the first USL season.
Absolutely. Adam, see us out on this one, as I feel like your name caption is going to be changing another 10 times before we end recording tonight.
Well, I don't want to disappoint anybody, but I actually don't want DiCio out. I thought this was maybe our most impressive win. And I say that because of the injuries that we're currently dealing with. Elvis out with Reese out again, like Red said earlier too. Allie didn't even play. I thought I remember head coach saying that he took a knock. I could be wrong on that though. It was impressive, especially coming off of a short week. I know Oakland had a short week as well, and they were traveling cross country, but still coming out, completely dominating that game. It was never us losing that game was never in question.
Right.
Throughout that entire match. And I don't know, and you can't really say that too often with City, just because ever since we went to USL, and even when we were in Nisa, but Nisa was a completely different set of circumstances. Ever since we went to,
I think it has a lot of potential as a professional league.
Oh my God!
Going forward, it just
you never know. Jaime, they could turn it around.
Now, I mean, now with Rod as Nisa's financial analyst, they might stand a chance now.
Rod being the financial analyst by looking at Instagram on his, checking Instagram on his iPhone. It's a step above what Nisa already has, so it's already an improvement.
They're already on time.
What again? I mean, City, since we've gone to USL Championship, obviously we haven't scored that many goals, and every single game, I don't want to say has been a struggle, but I don't think there hasn't been many games where we could, just sit there and be comfortable and count down the minutes to 90 and take the win. Saturday was different. Saturday was one of those games where I think everybody in Keyworth felt pretty comfortable about what was happening. And like I said, you don't get too many of those. You don't get too many of those being a City supporter, and it was a nice feeling. And it all came when you had our starting striker and one of our starting wingers out with injury. And yeah, I'm excited to see Victor, moving forward, and I would fully expect him to start Saturday against Pittsburgh as well. And Jaime, I just piggybacking off of something that Jaime said about the rotations and the substitutions and everything like that. I think it gives supporters a lot more confidence too in some of these players.
Yeah.
Obviously, Connor has taken the wrath of a lot of supporters, over the course of the past couple of seasons. And when he was subbed on Saturday, him in particular, I felt good in that sense because I know
it was a great move.
It was a great move because I knew the situation that Connor was going into. He was going into a situation that I thought he was going to thrive in because he was going to use his strengths in running down Oakland and finishing off that game. And I think that's great. And I think that works for him. And yeah, Yazid shouldn't be starting Saturday. I don't think he should be starting. But would I have any problem with him coming in, in the 70th minute, in the 75th minute when, we need a goal? No, I really wouldn't. I think that, Yazid, Connor, they have specific roles in this league, and I think that they are being used in those roles now. And it's refreshing.
And Ben Morris too, right? Like I think that's like the whole thing from last year. It was like not that these guys don't have anything to contribute to the team, right, but it's the context, right? Like so I don't think Ben Morris is a 9. I really don't. I don't think he's a great finisher. I don't think he's a center forward. but on the wing where he can utilize his pace and create danger, like he creates a lot of problems on the wing because he's often isolated in one-on-one situations. He can use his speed to get past the like. It's when he's in the middle that he's not as effective. But I think Dikio is like seeing these things and like finding like, hey, okay, this is what I'm working with, and this is where I can use them to have success. And that's what I think was lacking last year. There was no, it was more rigid, right? It was like, this is what we're doing. It doesn't matter what the score is. It doesn't matter what the opposition is doing. This is what we had one way of playing, or one way of thinking about what the team looked like, and that's completely changed. Like that's the biggest change for me this year. That is like a whole new.
There's not as much weight on his shoulders. Also,
and what was
last year he had the weight, and it was a lot of weight for him to carry. This year he's relaxed.
What was especially impressive too about Ben and is the way that him and Victor connected on that goal too, because it seemed like they were playing together for a half season already, and and Victor hasn't been around on this team for that long.
Maybe a month, maybe a little more than that.
And it looked like, I mean, that looked like a play that we would see them turn in June or July. Yeah. So I mean that was refreshing to see, and yeah, I would agree with Jaime. I think that Ben is, the situations that he's being put in right now is better suited for him. And I don't want to do this. I don't want to make it sound like I'm shitting on Trevor, last season or anything like that.
Except last season was rough.
No, but the thing about last season, I mean, I know we were talking about Adrian and some of the other guys that didn't see a whole lot of time, and this is purely speculative. And Garrett, I know we've talked about this
many times in different things.
Yes, about this, and we talked about it the other day, I think too, and how last year was a bad season all around, and it was a bad season for Trevor. It was a bad season for the team. And the speculation on my end is that maybe Adrian didn't deserve the minutes because of what was happening behind the scenes. Maybe Skaggy didn't deserve those minutes at the end because of things that were happening behind the scenes. Again, purely speculative, but I think that there's more to it. I think that there's more to what happened last year and why some of these guys didn't get playing time than Trevor just not wanting to play them and wanting to continue to play the starting 11 for the majority of the time that they were out there. So
I suspect. I mean, I definitely feel this way about Skaggy. You know what I mean? But maybe some of the other players, going back to at least what I was suggesting, and I think we might have talked about it, last year, just how disjointed the squad seemed in terms of cohesion. That some of these players, although skilled, might have not fit into the culture of what Trevor was building and just based off of what he was saying at, I think, one of the owners' meetings, like some folks don't fall in line with what the tactical decisions are.
That was the Brew Detroit meeting or owners' meeting, I think.
When he was announced as sporting director.
And for all the shit that Trevor got last year, he gets a lot of the credit this year for putting this team together. And I don't want that to fall on deaf ears because it's or Trevor not to get his flowers for what is happening right now, because Trevor's fingerprints are obviously all over this team, and he should, for as much credit that Dikio is getting right now, Trevor should get as much credit for getting these players into town, getting them signed, and
okay, well, I guess I'll come up with a different speak my piece.
Because
now that Adam took it,
he's stolen all of Alan's thunder.
I think it's
word
interesting.
for word. How dare you?
Stole your thunder.
My thunder stolen.
Adam's doing to Allen what Adam's hoping his club does to Allen's club in England at season's end. Oh, on that one other thing, Adam, you were talking
No,
about.
I'm fully prepared to be disappointed in that. But go ahead. And see, you know what? If I could take this from Allen now, and get ahead of what Allen is getting ready to take from me in a couple of weeks, then then I'll take it. I'll take it.
You were talking about Trevor getting the credit. I think
Trevor's just getting passed around here like a bottle of Mad Dog 2020.
Oh man,
Mad Dog, Red Hot. Oh god, Red Dog.
I used to steal bottles of Mad Dog 2020 when I was a teenager, like at 14.
Oh god.
In case you were wondering.
We're reporting red to the authorities after this podcast.
The grape flavor. Mad Dog.
Oh,
that's how that was the secret of becoming an all Michigan State soccer player, whatever red.
1998.
1998.
I'm glad that you brought that up, Adam.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Because
point
we
being,
digress.
Adam, you were talking about the Trevor getting the credit. I also think it's great because Trevor and DQ have seemed to flow really, really well in giving each other what's their best comfort zone, because we obviously saw last week in the Open Cup match that certain people can't get away from the tendencies of wanting to take over on the touchline when shit's not going their way. Hi, George Junshai. In case you're seeing this, this is completely about you. Great performances. I want to commend shout out to Alex Villanueva for the post-match interview with us for Channel 451 Majors Detroit post-match coverage. Really solid dude. Also love that, most people in the shout-outs will talk about, like, immediately when you ask, like, the last question, like, to that would be the fans. First people that Alex talked about, his mom and dad. And, like, thanking. And that is really fucking cool. I feel like
you wanted them to make sure they knew he was okay and everything was going good.
He was cold. He was cold.
Because he is only 21. He's only 21 and
22. Yeah,
22. Probably hasn't been away from home all that much yet.
He's getting used to Michigan weather. Like, unfortunately, all of us that grew up in the state are still feeling it in April. Shit. How is it? Yeah, my one note. How is a game in April worse than a season opener in March that had a gigantic fucking snow mound behind one of the goals? Easy. There's no sun. And that's how
every one of our home games has had the same weather. This is unfair.
Yeah. But as mentioned earlier, we were the only team to win at home because the rest of the teams in this league are scrubby and ass. Quick rundown, which leads into our next opponent for this weekend. Loudon nil, Louisville 1, Hartford 1, San Antonio 3, Tulsa 1, Charleston Battery 4, Miami 0, Birmingham 1, North Carolina 2, New Mexico 3, Tampa Bay Rowdies 1, El Paso 1. Man. Tampa, I think, was favored by a shit ton of that game. Switchbacks 1, Indy 1. Switchbacks with, I think, their first point of the year. Lights 1, Rhode Island 2. Memphis 1, Monterey Bay 2. Orange County 0, Sacramento 2. And the surprising one, which is leading to our opponent for this coming week, even though they had the chances to put the game away, Phoenix Rising 1, Pittsburgh Riverhounds 3. The Riverhounds with their first win of the year. And Riverhounds are our opponent this coming weekend. A return for us to Highmark Stadium, where 6 months ago we broke Pittsburgh Riverhounds' spirit. We might have taken their soul. We definitely, left the Steel Army, like, if they weren't crying, feeling like they were crying, and that for most of this season has continued. Yes, they did win in their last match, but 6 matches played, 1 win, 2 draws, 3 losses, 4 goals scored, 7 allowed. 7 o'clock kickoff for City taking on the Hounds. Detroit City is the only team in USL Championship with a 100% record. One of only I take that back, 4 unbeatens. The other ones are Sacramento, Charleston, and Tampa Bay. But I am very curious to see if this is going to be a game where we can continue what we did with Roots this past weekend, or are we going to be in for a little bit of a fight just because we are playing Riverhounds and Bob Lilly. Alan, why don't you start us off on this? How are you feeling about this?
Yeah, I mean our form has been really good. Their form has not been that great, so they are going to push. They're going to push us hard. They need to get a result from this game to show that they're back on track. I think our what I've seen in our play so far. I mean, I'm really not super concerned. I am concerned with any away game. It's just it's a challenge, but there'll be a collection of Detroit City supporters at Highmark, so we'll be making some noise. Those that are there, and
are you going, or are you saying you're going to go and then
I am not going?
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we're not going to see a repeat of June 22.
Yeah, no
Alan
double birds.
no double birds in the stands.
Oh, yes, that's right.
You were fucked up that night.
Yes, I was.
It's one of my favorite gifts.
That's the
unconfirmed
double bird. That was the
rumors.
double birdie night, right?
Double birds.
What's your prediction scoreline?
2-1 City.
Goals?
I don't know.
All right. Adam, thoughts, prediction?
Yeah, I like Alan. I get nervous about any road game, especially a rivalry game like this. I expect it to be tough. Yeah, but Pittsburgh obviously definitely needs a result here, because the big question coming out of last weekend regarding the Riverhounds and Phoenix is Phoenix that bad, or are the Riverhounds actually turning a corner here? Form is looking good. Obviously, some of the what we saw this past weekend with our offense seemingly not missing a beat despite the injuries is reassuring. Going to this week, I'm going to go ahead and say 1-0 City. Victor gets the goal.
All right. Red, how about you?
Yeah, no, I think I don't, at this point in time, I don't think it matters who we play. I think we're in good form, and I think and we're in good form despite the injury bug. I'm gonna say City wins 2-0. I don't think that Phoenix is turning the corner by beating. I'm sorry, Pittsburgh turning a corner by beating Phoenix. I think it's kind of like have you ever seen a man take a shit on dog shit?
What?
No.
Neither
I have
have
not.
We have a brand new out here reference that that's going to be maybe the title of this episode.
It's like shitting on shit. That's all that it's still all shit. It just turns into a pile of shit. So whether
have you ever seen a man take a shit on dog shit?
Dog shit.
Wow.
I guess that would be a place to do it.
It changes my perspective on everything. Wow.
He's already got a mess.
Think outside the box, fellas. Think outside the box. That's a master's degree in sociology doing its math. All right.
Hard-earned college dollars at work.
So I don't make anything of a shit club beating a shit club, because when a man shits on a pile of shit, it's just a pile of shit that's bigger. All right. That's all I can say about that.
It's incredibly insightful, Red.
That was deep. That might have been your deepest thing you've ever said. That's layers.
Wait, was that a haiku? Was that a haiku? Wait,
Don't stop. Don't. Nope. Don't
What?
even get him started. Nope. 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 Nope.
I think we might be one syllable off.
A man
1
shit-
hour later.
A
One
man
syllable
shits
off.
on shit. What does that make of the thing?
Adam, you
A big
motherfucker.
pile of shit. There you go.
Brad's gonna write a book. He's gonna write a book.
Oh my god.
He's a poet.
Bars, son. Bars.
Jaime, your thoughts and prediction, please.
I remain thoroughly unconvinced about Pittsburgh. I think they're probably not a very good soccer team. I don't even know if they've got any players left from last year. They all left because it was so humiliating their exit from the playoffs.
Tell us how you really feel.
I'm going to say we go in there. The party continues. Pittsburgh 0, Detroit City Football Club 4.
Whoa.
Oh God!
Whoa.
Victor
Whoa.
Becerra hat trick. And the fourth one late in the second half from Devin Amumensa. Corner kick. He's just going to jump higher than everyone and smack into the goal. Undefeated. Let's go.
My 2-0. I'm gonna say Victor does put one in as well, and I think Lai is gonna put another one in.
So, Phoenix had chances, but they also gave up space, that horrendous defense that I don't see us doing. And that's why Pittsburgh, especially those 2 goals that they allowed late. Riverhounds have to prove that this wasn't a one-off. We're in form. We broke them 6 months ago. I think we will continue that run. Riverhounds 0, City 3.
Jesus.
I am going Maxi Rodriguez gets 1 because he's in form and keep on playing. Ben gets another. And Becerra.
Sounds good.
So, yeah, 7 o'clock Saturday. If you're going to go, just safe travels. Bring the noise during the match. But when the match ends, just don't be an asshole. Remember who you're representing this community. Have fun. Hit up Home Run Harry's beforehand and afterwards and all that.
Garrett's not any fun.
Huh?
Garrett's not any fun.
Hey, Garrett. Hey, guys, look. Pittsburgh playing Phoenix. Woo!
Shit going shit.
The
There's not the shit.
things we see in the tunnel.
Yeah,
are
there's not.
horrifying sometimes.
Hey, you. Real quick, you want to know what things about horrifying things in the tunnel? Last week, leaving and seeing the tunnel gentrified and like lit up. Yeah, the other tunnel, not the one we frequent.
The long-awaited improvements to a Keyworth Stadium that we've been asking for 3 years.
It looks too nice. It's not the tunnel that I remember.
It's a gentrified tunnel.
Yeah.
That's the one area of Keyworth that I don't want to see improved.
Yeah. You guys mentioned it's the first of a 3-game road stand for City. So the Riverhounds on the 27th, Loudon in Saturday, May 4th, U.S. Open Cup round 4, trip to Texas to take on the Houston Dynamo. I loved Justin's line in the recap that says we're the Dynamo, so I hope that continues on there. That is May 7th at 8 p.m. Tuesday before we get back home to take on that dog shit Rising 5 o'clock on CBS Sports Network. 2-team tomorrow open up in Milford. That's at 8 p.m. Eastern. The 2 schedule should be on as we got the link for that on the club's website. So some games are being finalized, but we should be finally seeing that schedule be coming out. And the women got a great respect celebration at halftime for their PASL season. I know the club dropped some information tonight on that season. Let me bring it up here just because it's how impressive it was. 8-2, 80 goals scored, 50+ goal difference. Kayla Addison with 20 goals.
Beast.
I want to see that. I want to see that in the W League this year.
I won't believe those stats until I see them on the PSL website.
Oh, God, too soon.
That's gonna be quite a wait.
Yeah, about that. You know that halo you had up earlier above you? We should probably send that to wherever PSL is now residing underground.
Did Kayla outscore
down.
the men's team last year?
Kayla almost outscored the men's team. Kayla scored 2/3 of the men's goals last season.
I think the men.
But then when you add Hannah Crum, we did score one more goal than what the men did in all of USL last season. But yeah, that's that in there. And hey, Adam, to be fair, the 2 games that we played Waza, we scored 31 goals, one more than the men did all of their USL championship season last year.
Wowza.
We are.
Shout out to Da, by the way.
The club also said too that we're supposed to get women's USLW League updates this week too. So hopefully that's some roster announcements and.
Well, it is that time, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because the season is what, 3 weeks away?
2 weeks away.
2 weeks away?
May 11th in fucking Flint, and then the home opener next weekend. Time is a flat circle. Jesus Christ.
Oh, like the Earth.
Happy Earth Day, everybody.
Wait, the home opener's when?
May 18th, 3 weeks from this weekend.
I thought you said next weekend. I'm like, what the fuck?
The ecstasy's kicking in, Adam. Just let it ride, dude.
Oh, yeah.
That's another
Sorry about
episode
that.
title. Let it ride. Speaking of letting it ride, let's get everyone's closing thoughts here. Adam, lead, please.
No closing thoughts from me, really. Trying to think of what Alan would say on the spot.
Sorry.
Just to steal the rest of his thunder.
Yeah. No, Pride Raiser is coming up.
Yep.
Club has something on the website right now to get your nominations in for the Pride Raiser starting 11. The deadline for that is actually this coming Friday. And the starting 11, they actually introduced it last year too as a way to recognize individuals within the LGBTQ community that have kind of gone above and beyond to help and make a difference within the community itself. So I'm asking everybody out there to get your nominations in. If you know somebody that goes above and beyond within the LGBTQ community, to get them nominated. And you can do that. There's a link, a Google form on the club's website where you can make that nomination, and we can get it tweeted out too from the NGS Cares account, which you already did. Maybe we can do that from the 451 account as well. So Get those nominations in. Deadline's this Friday.
Alan.
Yeah, I mean, as you would expect with Detroit City, with the record we've got right now, some people out in the world are suggesting that perhaps it's our opponents that are what can explain our good run of form, and that perhaps once we confront some of the more substantial sides in the league, that you may see something different. I call this the accusation of being flat track bullies. Well, you know what? I think some of these same analysts of who shall remain nameless also predicted that
Jonathan Archimedes Morrissey. That's who it was.
Come on,
I'm not naming names. Others can name names, but I'm not naming names. Suggested
just woke up his
Detroit
whole
City
house.
was only going to get 17 points this season.
I gotta go. My daughter's awake.
I think given that we've got what 15 points right now,
You
that
woke up my
probably
daughter,
we're going to
Jaime.
surpass that record.
Sorry, Alan. We just laughed over you.
Jesus Christ, Jaime.
Daddy, who's Archimedes?
It's not even. Here's the thing: is that
kids look it up.
Don't take that account like seriously. It's not even the fucking real account. That's a troll account that was set up that does all that stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, that explains that.
Got anything else, bud?
If I did, I can't remember it now. I'm sure it was really important.
He's gonna be like, oh yeah, I was diagnosed.
I will remember it about 3:30 in the morning tonight.
He's gonna be lying in bed. That's what it
right.
was.
I'm like, God damn it!
The Rick and Morty.
This very important point.
We can record it as an addendum to the podcast.
I'll call Red at 3:30 in the morning and make sure he adds it.
No, just fucking film a video and
podcast.
put it on our WhatsApp. We'll do it. There.
Oh yeah. That's a lot of work. I'm not into that.
Yeah, that's true. Red, how about you, bud?
First off, I got contacted by another brother within the supporter base who was good friends with Josh Prentice, who, for those of you who might not know that's listening or watching, is one of our beloved supporters who passed in the last year. And this last Saturday, there was a charity hockey game in Josh's honor that was put on. They had over 40 skaters and a bunch of raffle and silent auction stuff. Not really sure how much was raised, but they did it for a particular charity. I'll reach out to Josh's sweetheart to see what all went on with that and have some more details for you next week. But man, that's a beautiful thing. It's once again, I mean, just be honest with you, just the fact that somebody reached out to share that, and there were people who went out of their way to do that, goes to show once again that it's a beautiful thing that City's starting off 5-0. 5-0. That sounded weird, right? 5-0-0, right? And also winning our opening round of the U.S. Open Cup, so 6-0 on the 2024 campaign, and we're doing great. It's really easy, and I love it, you know what I mean? But, like, in the good times and the bad times with what's happening on the pitch, not to lose sight of those who are all around this club that are helping build it. And whether or not they're helping to build it or not, that people who have come and made this part of their lives, and we're building community. And it's a beautiful thing to see that even after folks within our supporter base pass, that people are still doing things to continue on the spirit of those folks. And so, yeah, I expect a lot from you all when I die. Do good things when I die, all right? If you don't do good things, I'm gonna fucking haunt you, all right? So if you don't fucking get your shit together and start thinking about what you're gonna do when Red's gone, I'm fucking done with you.
We're gonna hang up your 1998 All-State Fenton jersey in the tunnel and just put candles next to it as forever and memoriam.
I actually have my 1998.
You've worn it on this podcast.
I've worn it, and I've got all my teammates signed on it that say, "Oh, Sean, you're so awesome. We're so happy you're our captain."
You were surprised it still fit.
Yeah,
Looks like
they love me. Sorry.
Looks like you're playing with your nipples there for a second.
That's gonna be the screenshot for this episode too.
That's what we did, Adam. That's what we did. I was that kind of captain, okay? In 1998,
it was a different time back then,
dude.
We played with each other's nipples.
Adam, it was the late 90s, man. We were sons of the Attitude Era. You clearly remember that shit. Jaime.
Off the rails.
Well, I just would like to say, and I don't mean to self-promote, but
here we go.
This is long overdue, but next weekend I'll be making my coaching debut on the bench at Keyworth. Dikio, obviously great guy, but they reached out and they said, listen, we think we need a little bit of extra help. So could you make it? I said, of course, always happy to be there for the club. But no, actually, the U13 boys team I coach is playing a team from Hamtramck, and we're actually playing at Keyworth Stadium, which is kind of wild to me. So if anyone's got nothing else better to do than watch some below average U13 boys soccer game, come out to Keyworth Sunday night, 6 p.m. There will be no food trucks. There will be no halftime keg roll. There will be no PA announcers. There will be no scoreboard. But there will be kids loving the game. And I will be there too. So
and potentially angry opposition fans.
No,
screaming obscenities.
No, I've got a smoke bomb and 2 flares.
No, hey, Jaime, when did you?
So it'll be a memorable U13 game.
Sorry, I blacked out and I wasn't paying attention.
I think it's Sunday at 6.
This Sunday at 6.
Sunday.
6 p.m., right?
6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Dennis.
Technically,
are we gonna go and heckle Jaime?
Why aren't you using more subs?
I might actually bring Angel there. I've got Angel at that time. Me and Angel might come, and I might just say, "Go, hey, sweetheart, go on the field in the middle."
Oh my God, we gotta
save that just as we're about to give away a breakaway. Get her on there right in time to mess up the other team. Yeah, that'd be great.
Do you think the men's team will be back in town?
Yeah, they should be because they think they have to. That's a bus game for them.
Probably.
We gotta get Ben Morris to that game.
Oh my God, yes.
It'll say Ventura out. Ventura out.
He'll have a big sign.
Oh yeah, we're gonna give him a 2-stick.
The worst manager I've ever seen.
Hey, speaking of which,
Eastern Daylight Time, not Eastern Standard Time.
All right.
Oh, wow.
You just fucking blew my mind, Adam.
I learned.
Even Adam, see? I don't even know where I'm at. Shit.
Shocking. Absolutely shocking. Go on, Red. Yeah.
Did you guys saw Coach Vikio's commentary I think it was prior to Saturday's match. No, it was after Saturday's match about Ben, right? When he said something like he had a conversation with Ben about what's been bugging him. You guys remember that?
Yeah. What do you think he was talking about?
I think he was talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was
sorted
too.
it out. That's the main thing.
Well, I'd just like to say that you're welcome that I lit a fire underneath his ass.
There's this guy in the stands with crazy hair.
Told Ben, no more podcasts for you, buddy.
No, but to Jaime's credit, we give him a lot of shit and run an angle on Jaime about him hating Ben. He doesn't hate Ben, and to Jaime's credit, he has said for a long time that he thought that Ben would be phenomenal on the wing, and Ben is showing that he's coming into his form on the wing.
Got potential, man. Got potential.
I'm just saying is that screenshot the club used for that video. Tell me that those eyes do not look like absolute fucking mischief right there. That's Ben Morris right there. So if he's got that mindset for goal, opposing defenses, you're fucking screwed. So we're in a great fucking mood. The club's playing fucking good. 5-0-0. Pittsburgh next. Steel Army going to be like actually not steel. They're just going to fold over like the fucking wind that we experienced at Keyworth.
Weasel Army.
Dog shit Army. Come and fucking get it Saturday night, Pittsburgh. In the meantime, be good to each other. If you're going downtown for the draft, Godspeed. We'll go fucking onward.
Are we? We're
Yeah.
not We're not going onward until I push stop recording.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Pretty gritty in the key. You see our flag fly, chin check. Hashtag we came to sweep the leg. With all disrespect, the rules will bruise your head. 2012, the scene pop. We came to clean clocks. Your team is dream drop. We gave some mean knocks, stomping on the comp. Yeah, we chomping on the bit. Many came and went, but they ain't stopping none of it. Community built, community owned. Roasting foes coast to coast. Leave your hope postponed. Spirit of Detroit. Lemons the lemonade.